The Furnished Room by O. Henry is a haunting short story about love, loss, and loneliness in a bustling city. It tells the tragic tale of a young man searching endlessly for his beloved, Eloise Vashner. Set in New York's dark lodging houses, the story explores how human dreams fade amid indifference. With O. Henry's signature twist, it reveals heartbreak wrapped in poetic irony. Created by Manisha Mishra. A weary wanderer. In the dim twilight of a New York street, a weary young man searched desperately for a place to stay. His eyes carried the exhaustion of days spent wandering. He entered a gloomy lodging house, one of many in the city's crowded quarter. Its faded curtains and stale air reflected forgotten lives. The young man asked for a furnished room to rent, hoping for comfort and rest. The Furnished Room by O. Henry is a haunting short story about love, loss, and loneliness in a bustling city. It tells the tragic tale of a young man searching endlessly for his beloved, Eloise Vashner. Set in New York's dark lodging houses, the story explores how human dreams fade amid indifference. With O. Henry's signature twist, it reveals heartbreak wrapped in poetic irony. Created by Manisha Mishra. The Cold Landlady. The landlady, a plump woman with cold eyes and false sympathy, led him upstairs. The hall smelled of cooking and dust, heavy with past tenants' secrets. She opened a door to a small, cluttered room. The air was suffocating, with remnants of someone's life scattered, hairpins, perfume traces, and crumpled paper. The young man stood silently, sensing something strangely familiar about the room's atmosphere and arrangement. Hidden knowledge. The landlady, seeing his sadness, tried to reassure him, saying many people came and went. Maybe your young lady stayed elsewhere, she suggested. But her eyes darted away, betraying knowledge she hid. The young man said nothing more, paid for the room, and waited until she left. When the door closed, the air seemed heavier. He stood still, listening to faint street noises outside the window. Whispers of the past. When alone, he slowly removed his hat and coat, then sat on the bed. His eyes moved restlessly around, touching each object as though it could speak. The bureau's mirror reflected his pale, tense face. The air seemed alive with memories. He leaned forward, whispering her name, Eloise. The name broke the silence. His heart trembled with hope and despair. His long, painful search might finally end here. The endless search. For weeks, he had searched the vast, indifferent city, following faint traces. From boarding houses to theaters, he'd asked about her, always receiving blank stares or cruel laughter. Eloise Vashner, a young actress who had vanished without a word. Once she had promised to send for him when she succeeded. But fame had swallowed her, and he had come to New York to find her again. The Forgotten Handkerchief. Every rooming house carried echoes of people like them. Dreamers who came to the city seeking glory. He had grown thinner, his voice rough from asking endless questions. The city had given no answers. Tonight, though, this room stirred something different. He walked to the dresser, opened drawers, and found a woman's forgotten handkerchief. It smelled faintly of her perfume, the same scent she once wore. The fragrance of memory. His hands trembled as he held the handkerchief close, feeling its softness against his cheek. He whispered again, Eloise. The sound of her name seemed to awaken the room's silence. He looked toward the bed where the coverlet was neatly folded, the pillow indented slightly, as if someone had recently lain there. His heart pounded. She must have lived here, he murmured, almost pleading for truth. Desperate questions. Desperation filled him. He rushed down to the landlady, demanding to know if Eloise Vashner had stayed there. She denied it again, her face calm, her eyes avoiding his. No one by that name, she said firmly. Her practiced tone hid unease. He begged her to think, to remember, describing Eloise's golden hair, her soft voice, her laughter. But the woman coldly repeated, no such person. Desperate questions. Desperation filled him. He rushed down to the landlady, demanding to know if Eloise Vashner had stayed there. She denied it again, her face calm, her eyes avoiding his. No one by that name, she said firmly. Her practiced tone hid unease. He begged her to think, to remember, describing Eloise's golden hair, her soft voice, her laughter. But the woman coldly repeated, "No such person." Echoes of the heart. The dim lamp flickered as if responding. He smiled faintly, tears forming. Then he sank into a chair, lost in memory. Her laughter on stage, her bright eyes, her dream of success. The city had swallowed her, and he had followed its trail too long. The silence deepened until only his heartbeat filled the room. He lay down on the bed, feeling both peace and despair. The fading light. Outside, the street hummed faintly, carriages rolling, children calling, distant songs rising from taverns. But the room shut out life. The young man pressed his face into the pillow. The scent of violets surrounded him, intoxicating and haunting. He closed his eyes and whispered her name once more. Eloise. His whisper faded into stillness. He did not rise again. The lamp burned low beside his still body. The landlady's discovery. Hours passed. The landlady, hearing no sound, tiptoed up the stairs. Her shoes made no noise on the thick carpet. She hesitated at the door, then pushed it open slightly. The room smelled strong of gas. The lamp's flame had gone out. She gasped softly but showed no shock. It was a sight she had seen before in such houses. Death came quietly to lonely boarders. Indifference of habit. Without alarm, she stepped forward, turned off the gas, and opened the window. Cold air entered. She looked at the young man's face, peaceful now, his hand still holding the handkerchief. She sighed, muttering, "Poor fellow." Her expression remained calm, almost indifferent. She had seen tragedy enough to feel nothing. Yet her eyes darted nervously to the gas jet, as if confirming it was fully closed. The House of Secrets. She locked the door behind her, murmuring that she would report it later. Downstairs, she sat near the stove, staring blankly. Then another lodger asked casually, "Anyone new in that top room?" She nodded. "He's gone now," she replied flatly. Her voice carried no feeling. She began knitting again, her lips pressed tight, as though sealing away the room's newest secret among many others. The name returns. Later that evening, the landlady went to speak with another woman who lived nearby. They chatted about lodgers, rent, and business. The conversation drifted to a sad story, the young actress who had died in one of her rooms. "Such a pity," she said. "A year ago now." She gassed herself too. Her name was Miss Eloise Vashner. She sighed, shaking her head as if remembering regretfully. A bitter irony. The friend asked, surprised, "Why do such people do it?" The landlady shrugged. "Dreams," she answered. "They come chasing fame and love. When both fail, they end it." The two women spoke softly, their voices fading under the ticking clock. Neither knew that upstairs, the same perfume of violets lingered once again, wrapping around the air like a ghost that refused to leave. Reunion beyond life. The story of the young man and Eloise Vashner had come full circle within the walls of that gloomy house. He had searched endlessly for her, only to find her too late, without knowing it. The room that had been her final refuge became his resting place too. The gas that had claimed her life now claimed his. Their souls, perhaps, finally reunited beyond earthly sorrow. Routine returns. The next morning, light entered through the cracked blinds. Dust danced in the air. The landlady opened the door again with routine care. The stillness did not move her. She began removing his few belongings, a coat, a notebook, and a photograph. She wondered briefly about his story but quickly pushed the thought away. To her, boarders came and went like passing shadows in the night. The city moves on. The city outside continued its busy rhythm, unaware of two forgotten souls whose love story ended in silence. The houses remained crowded with strangers, each carrying invisible dreams. The young man's room would soon be rented again, scrubbed clean of tragedy. The faint scent of violets might linger, unnoticed by the next tenant, whispering softly of lost love and unfulfilled promises in the city's heart. Meaning behind the story. Oh, Henry's tale captures the loneliness of city life, where people come seeking purpose but find despair. The furnished room symbolizes transience, lives borrowed and abandoned. Love, memory, and loss intertwine beneath the surface. The story reminds us how indifference consumes the living while the dead linger in forgotten corners. It is a portrait of love destroyed by distance, time, and the cold heart of urban life. The contrast of characters. The contrast between the young man's passion and the landlady's indifference deepens the tragedy. His hope burns brightly until the end, while her detachment mirrors society's apathy toward human pain. The recurring violet scent symbolizes memory and the haunting persistence of love. The city itself acts as a character, vast, unfeeling, swallowing dreamers like Eloise and her lover without a trace of sympathy or remembrance. Oh, Henry's technique. Oh, Henry masterfully builds suspense through atmosphere. The flickering lamp, heavy air, and faint perfume all create emotional tension. The reader senses the coming doom even before the tragic revelation. The ending shocks yet satisfies, connecting their fates in poetic irony. His trademark twist leaves a haunting echo, reminding us that love and loss often coexist in life's most ordinary places, like a simple furnished room. The symbolic room. The title itself carries deep symbolism. A furnished room represents a temporary existence, filled with others' memories. Just as the room isn't truly his, the young man's hope isn't truly his to keep. Both were borrowed moments in a world that moves on quickly. When he dies there, he leaves no mark. Only the same room, the same scent, and another unrecorded tragedy behind closed doors. Illusion and reality. This story also explores illusion and reality. The man believed he could find Eloise through love alone, but the truth was beyond reach. His imagination turned the faint perfume into her presence, showing how grief can create illusions stronger than life. The furnished room becomes a stage where memory performs its final act, and reality steps back, letting tragedy quietly take center stage. The silent witness. Through the landlady. Oh, Henry reveals how repetition dulls compassion. Her calm reaction to death shows how easily people accept suffering when it becomes common. Yet her whispered mention of Eloise later hints at guilt. She knew the truth, but chose silence. That silence connects both deaths. 2 lives lost under her roof, while she remained a silent witness to love's final defeat. The mood and imagery. The tone of the furnished room is both eerie and tender. Oh, Henry's vivid descriptions of the city's decay reflect the emptiness of human longing. His use of smell, sound, and imagery makes the story deeply emotional. The violet perfume, the flickering gas, and the heavy stillness together paint a picture of love turned to despair, reminding readers of how fragile human hope can be. The poetic tragedy. When the reader learns the truth, that Eloise had lived and died in that very room, the entire story takes a tragic new meaning. The man's search was not in vain, but fate's irony made his discovery fatal. Their reunion came not in life, but in death. The furnished room, once merely a shelter, becomes their shared tomb, a silent witness to love that could not survive. The forgotten souls. The city forgets, but the room remembers. Its air carries the memory of 2 souls bound by love and despair. Each new tenant unknowingly steps into a place marked by tragedy. Through this haunting story, Henry exposes the loneliness of modern life. The way people vanish unnoticed, their dreams fading into dust, while the world outside moves forward, untouched and unaware. Moral and reflection. Henry's The Furnished Room teaches a sorrowful truth. Love without understanding can lead to ruin, and the world rarely pauses for grief. It reminds readers to look beyond appearances, to notice the silent suffering around us. The story blends irony, emotion, and realism, leaving an unforgettable message about human loneliness, lost dreams, and the haunting endurance of love beyond death.